First Corinthians chapter 13, verse 11. When I was a child, I spoke as a child. I understood as a child. I thought as a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things. Very powerful, astute message. I think it came from Paul, if I'm not mistaken, one of the disciples of Jesus Christ. And the reason I read that, I came across that verse not too long ago. And, you follow this channel, you know that I'm a big time admitted fan of anime, manga, and comic books and superheroes. And it's been that way since I was a child, especially because I started off with comic books. The X-Men was oh man. You couldn't tell me nothing, man. The X-Men, when I got a hold of the X-Men, that was just like those are my guys, man. Storm, all of Storm, Wolverine, Colossus, Nightcrawler, Kitty Pryde, Cyclops, Jean Grey, Iceman, Angel, Beast. Man, you name them, man. That was my squad. Even when they were X Factor, that was just my superhero team. Of course, there wasn't too many live action movies back then. The greatest one, of course, was Superman's first movie, legendary Christopher Reeves, may he rest in peace. And I came up on this, man. Star Wars. Used to love some Luke Skywalker, man. Then I got into anime, and then I started reading manga. Then I got back into the comics because of this. When the first Spider-Man movie came out with Tobey Maguire, oh man, I went back to comic books, man. When that movie dropped, it was like the first time I actually seen, like, to me, was a real live action comic book on the big screen. Special effects were good for the time. It just blew my mind. And I was like, damn, what a time to be alive. I got to see something this wonderful, not knowing how far comic book movies would come after that. But, just to see that first one, even though I got to give a shout out to Blade and, what else was the guy? But man, I can't think of his name right now, man. Spawn, those are good too, but especially Blade, But I love those. But when that Spider-Man movie hit, I had to get back in the comics, man. And so now, MCU, they did their run, 10 years, man. Most of the movies were pretty good. They had a couple of, meh movies. That's understandable. You can't win them all, but they, you could tell like they put some real effort in each movie, which was good. But then something happened, man. Trump wins the presidency, and the world flipped. Superheroes wasn't superheroes like I used to remember them. Everything had an agenda to it, some propaganda to it, some unnecessary politics to it, some social norms and norms to it that wasn't really in comic books when I was coming up. And the movies were starting to reflect what was going on in the comic books. Even though the comic books were telling old stories that I came up on that didn't have this in it before, but now it's being injected into these comics and making the comic books not really mean what it said it was mean, and these characters wasn't the characters of who they were supposed to be, and it just got changed. And, you know, then here comes the onslaught of the social justice warriors and the liberals and the progressive. It wasn't about the character no more. It was about their movements, about their politics, about their propaganda. And people had to adopt these type of messages, or they were left out, cut out, and all kind of things. You didn't believe, or you didn't go with what they were saying, or the status quo, you're a bigot, you're a racist, you're a Nazi, you're a homophobe, all kind of things. You're a crybaby, you're an incel, you're a man-child. And I was thinking to myself, like, I just wanted the comments to be like they used to be. I just wanted to be like what I grew up on, what made me fall in love with the genre. That's all I wanted. You know, when I crack those pages open, I want to feel that love and that wonder and that glee I found back when I was a kid, checking out that first X-Men comic. Going to see that your dad brings home back when Blockbuster popping, bring home Transformers the movie, and your mind is blown. It was blown. How are they doing these things? Then you see anime, Akira, Evangelion, Battle Angel Alita. I'm renting these things from Blockbuster, seeing them. And then I jump now to when it should be the best time for somebody that love these things. It's the most popular genre on earth right now. It makes the most money. It's these superhero movies. Something that nobody was really checking for back then. People thought you was a geek or a nerd or a weirdo for, especially a lot of, if you was in the anime, you just get shunned. You into that weirdo stuff, man. But you liked it anyway. You didn't care what the people said about you. Running home, man, you know, Toonami. You had to catch Dragon Ball Z. All that, man. Gundam Wing. All of that, man. Man, I know. Oh, man. I remember there used to be a time you can only catch cartoons if you didn't have cable. Only time you catch cartoons on Saturday mornings. You get you some cereal. You stay up 3 or 4 hours just watching nothing but straight cartoons. I miss that. I keep up on that. That was ingrained in me. And I loved it. I loved it, man. And then I see what they're doing now. This character's black. This character usually was a white guy. Now he's black. This character was once straight. Now that's a lesbian. And you're supposed to rock with it, or else you don't like it, you're a sexist, you're a misogynist, or you're a homophobe now. Why can't I like my character to be who he was from the get-go? And so I was getting mad and angry with it. It is easy to feel that way, especially when you watch a lot of these YouTube videos and stuff like that, and nobody's listening to nobody. Everybody just want to say what they want to say, you know, whatever popular opinion, most people gonna go with it. So it's everybody complains on deaf ears. So I thought about it, and you heard that passage I just read out of Corinthians. All these things I came up to grow and love them as a child. You know, I mean, all the way from like kindergarten on up, you know. I told the story before, me and my cousins, man, me and my cousin, elementary school, we used to both have different pull lists at a comic book store. Cause, you know, we wasn't rich guys, you know, like that, but, you know, luckily our parents made enough money to get comics. And we can get them all, so he get a couple, and I get a couple. You know, we get them, And together we had a nice little pull list. We put them together, you know. We come to school, we trade off. He give me the ones he got, I get the ones I got. So we kept up with everything. And we used to love it, man. We used to, man, some of the best times of our lives, man. Best time of life. Then on top of that, we were little kids. Man, we went and saw, my aunt took me and my cousin to go see that first Batman movie. Jack Nicholson's the Joker, man. Man, it was crazy, man. Good times, man. Good times. And I'm thinking about all these good times, even though I had greater good times too coming up. The pinnacle of those good times is when I was a child, when I was young. Now I'm a man. I'm getting older every day. As everybody else is getting older every day. And I see what they're doing and pushing in these comics and now into the MCU. I don't like it. I don't agree with it. But I realized something. I'm not a child no more. And this isn't for me. So instead of me complaining or worried about it, I decided just to let it go. Just let it go. You know, it's a big debate amongst people in hip hop. You know, you got the old heads. You know, they the spitters. You know, the 90s hip hop, the 80s hip hop, all those guys that came up, man. You know, it was all about lyricism. You know what I'm saying? You had to be able to spit. You know what I'm saying? You know, you had your little whack crews and stuff, whatever. They just made like trendy music, but people respected it as an art. Like the little trendy guys made like little dance songs. They wouldn't dare disrespect somebody that was a spitter. Like somebody like Uncle Luke down in Miami making booty music. He wasn't really gonna go up there and talk trash to a Jay-Z or a Nas or a Rakim. Those guys were spitters. You know what I'm saying? Everybody knew what they were doing. There was a craft to it. There was an amount of respect to that. And so now you got a generation of guys that don't care. They make disposable music. It's there's no love in it. No craftsmanship. No mastery of lyricism. It's gone. Now you still got some people that can still rap. You know, we all know that. You got your Kendrick Lamars and stuff like that. You know, but a few others. I'm just using him as an example. But I thought about it again. I said, you know, this is their era. This is their time. The guys came up in the 80s. The 80s had its own sound. Then the 90s had its own sound. In 2000, everybody had their own sound. And when people grew up, that was like the sound or the soundtrack of your lifetime. So of course you're going to be more in tune to that type of music, that genre, that time of music. But see, if you're getting older, you got to realize your time is gone, man. It's gone. You had fun with it. Now it's a young man's game. It is what it is. I had fun with the Marvel comics. Now it's a different era. This isn't my type. This isn't meant for me. I had my time. I had my beautiful memories. I loved it all, man. I loved it all. You know, I had a great time. We'll trade up for the rest. Even though there's new stuff, man, I can't get down with most of it, man. I find it hard to buy it. I can't relate to it no more because it's totally against. Most of the time, it's against my belief systems. I don't like the rhetoric that's being spread, and I don't like the ugliness that I see that's going on with the Twitter and everything. So I decided to be out. I got to see the combination of the MCU. It was a nice ride, man. Infinity War, Endgame. And now I'm out. You know, I had my time. You know, I appreciate the MCU. Yeah, it has some beautiful memories, man. For an old school comic book fan coming up, I like to say, man, it was a good run, man. Those Captain America movies, man, and The Iron Man movies and the Avengers movies were just was excellent, man. I really enjoyed them. Thor, you know, he did him kind of dirty, but he was entertaining to say the least, I guess. But yeah. So now, I'm pretty much gonna stay away from especially the Marvel side of comics. That's where I feel it's worse. DC's not much better, and definitely I'm out. The MCU, I'm out. I'm totally out of the MCU. I'm done. Endgame was my last movie. But all the guys that like this stuff, they're a fan and they want to like it and run with it, man. I mean, it's a beautiful time, man. You're getting big budget movies to make these comic book movies, man. So this is y'all era, man. Soak it up, man. Enjoy the ride, because one day it's gonna be over. And then I hate to say it, you're gonna be like me. You're gonna be like, wow, I remember the good old days when your Marvel used to blah blah blah, but now it's gonna be somebody else's time to run with the ball, So y'all running with the ball right now. Run it, man. Run it, Enjoy yourself. I wish the MCU the best of luck, Have fun with the characters. Do what you gotta do. But luckily technology makes it so that you can always go back and read the classics. And I do got my comics Exology, whatever you say, however you say it. I got my I got a subscription there, so I can always go back and buy the old classics and stuff like that and read them and just relive my childhood through that. But like I said, I'm a man now, and I got to put with my childish things. So that's the end of it, man. So what I wanted to say is, so the guys is like going crazy. I don't hate to say naming names, but you got the guys, quote unquote, Comics Gate. They get a bad rap and stuff like that. There's some alright fellas over there. Some of them ain't so alright, but it is what it is. That's everything you deal with in life. But leave it alone. Let them have it. Let the comic book industry, let them have it. There's no reason to fight over these characters, man. Most of the guys that's into that, they're probably at least 30. You had your time, man. Them characters, your characters, your scene, your timeline is done. You had your run. Let this generation run with these characters and do what they want to do with them. It's not your time anymore. You gotta learn when to sit back. And just sit back. If y'all making independent comics, do that. You can make it any way you want to. You have full control over these characters that you create. Storylines, you control it. Do that. But let them have their industry. Let them do what they want to do with it. If you feel they're going to run into the ground, let them run into the ground. If they're going to keep making billions and billions of dollars, let them make billions and billions of dollars. You had your time. Let's let it go. So, tell what y'all think in the comment section. I'm the Guru. This is a Geek Assault channel. A one-stop shop for all your pop geek culture needs. I'm out. Peace.